is early. Where is my coffee? So what we learned from the last stream is you need to hit record. So I don't have any material from last stream. So we're going to do a little recap right quick. What I'm working on is a 1950s cardigan. And I have picked this beautiful red color. I actually did some white balancing on my camera from last time, so hopefully you're picking up more red tones than orange. It's still a little orangey. That's alright though. But we were able to make gauge, and please don't at me for how tiny my gauge swatch is. But we did discover a couple of things while we were swatching. And one is because this roving, can you see that? The spin on this is pretty loose. It does not do well for like doing and undoing. So I'm gonna definitely do like a tubular cast on, because this is gonna be 4 pieces. It's gonna be bottom up. And so I'm going to start with a 1x1 rib. So I definitely want to do a tubular cast on, even though like I bought like the whole dye lot of yarn. So, you know how you have those setup stitches? I don't know why I feel like they're a waste. I mean, obviously they're not. They help with the stretch, but you know, that's what we're going to do. But there are a couple of different, kinds of tubular cast-ons that you can do. And this is the plight of the advanced beginner, where you know just enough to know that you have choices. And so I do have an example of, so this is my first and only sweater. And I did do a tubular cast on for the neck. And I did this using the long tail cast on. And can you see how like extra tubular it seems? I don't know if it was because it's long tail cast on and I didn't do the provisional cast on. But you know, I'm gonna try a couple of different methods, and then once I got down to I wanted to do a tubular cast on, I'm gonna try with the provisional. There are 2 different kinds of provisional cast on. So I'm going to try both of them today and see how they go. That's probably going to be the extent of this stream, is just figuring out which type of cast on I like. And that's yeah, that will probably be it. I don't know. So yeah. Let's see where we go from there. And this just to add to the recap, this is going to be a silky merino wool. It's almost 50-50, 51% silk and 41% merino. I think I really want this to be ready for spring. I don't know if it will be, but I think it will be light enough to where, like, if it's windy and springy, I'll be able to wear it outside. And then, what is this brand? Can you see that? So yeah, made in Peru. But yeah, it's a gorgeous, like, black red. Yeah, it's not coming up on camera. We're gonna move past that part. And so I'm gonna move this over here. And since I'm just kind of practicing, I'm gonna use my. So these needles are super sentimental to me. These are actually my needles that I learned to knit on from my mom, like 100 years ago. Size 10s, nice and long. They are way too long for practicing, but you know, that's the decision I made, because I got rid of all the other ones. I'm like, oh, I've got circular needles. I don't need all the rest of them except for the double pointed. But we're just gonna do this. And so I'm gonna use some nice acrylic yarn that I have lying around in my stash, and just a tip. I use these for my balls of yarn just to keep them from unraveling. You can buy them pretty much in bulk, like anywhere, but any kind of like inexpensive hair clip, you could, you know, keep your balls from unraveling. And And I'm also going to do a crochet cast on provisional because I'm a pretty good crocheter. I've been crocheting way longer than I've been knitting, so I'm comfortable with that. One thing I would suggest for people who just knit would be like this set of crochet needles from Knit Picks, because it's a 2-for-1. Like, you're not going to be knitting a whole, or crocheting. Words are hard in the morning. I need more coffee. So since you're probably not going to be crocheting a whole project together, you'd be using this for like picking up stitches or, you know, laddering down, which I didn't know was a thing. Like, I legitimately didn't know that you could go back and fix it without unwinding all of your knitting. Did you guys know that? I didn't know that until I was watching a YouTuber. And so that's kind of how I got this this idea to do the stream of, I really would like to document that analysis paralysis, me going from advanced beginner to intermediate and all the like little details of things, especially like the tubular bind off. Yeah, that's one of the things they don't tell you when it's like, make a raglan sweater. It's really easy. And then you get to the bind off and it's like, I have to have like hundreds and hundreds of yards of yarn to bind this thing off. And it will take so long and is the most annoying thing. But anyway, that's just me. I'm going to stop babbling now. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Anyway. So, we're going to do a provisional cast on with the crochet hook. And this is literally the first time I'm doing this, like live on the internet, is doing a provisional cast on with a crochet hook. I think, so the way you do a tubular cast on, it's half of your stitches plus 1, and I have to do 82 stitches for that, for the back panel. We're going to be knitting the back panel first. So half of that is 41, and then you add one more, so it would be 42. And I don't know about the math on that. So this is also the other reason why I want to do this, is to make sure, guarantee that if I do an even number of stitches, I will actually get the right number of stitches for my cast on. So I'm gonna just cast on 10 or 12, probably just 12, I think. So here we go. Oh my gosh, ball. This is, okay, when people ask why do you need a yarn bowl, this is why. This is it right here. Where is my yarn bowl? I'm saying ball, I mean bowl. Although you don't have to be fancy with a bowl, like, you just need any kind of bowl. But I had a friend of mine make me one, so I might as well use it, right? Oh my god. Too much stuff. There we go. It's a nice ceramic pot, handmade. Thank you, Steven. Not that he's gonna watch this. But yeah, just to keep it from rolling around on my desk. Alright, where am I? What am I doing? Who am I with? No coffee. Alright, hold on. Híjole. Alright. And these can be pretty loose, right? And you really want them to be, because you're going to be knitting in between them. So 1, 2. This is harder than I thought it would be. 3. 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. And then, let me grab my scissors. spent like an extra 10 minutes this morning, like making sure I had everything here ready to go. Nope. Nope. Did not think this far ahead. Alright, so I'm gonna cut that off. Let go. Let go. There we go. And I was able to pick up these enamel charms on AliExpress. And then I had bought like the light bulb things from Amazon. And so I've got one for P for the pickup stitches method, and then one for Y for yarn over. And I'm gonna label both samples so I can keep them apart so I know what the differences are, if that makes sense to anybody, because, you know, I want to be able to remember which one that I did, and I'm a goldfish, so I'm not going to. So we're gonna, let me do the yarn over first. See how that goes. Just throw that on right there. Oh my gosh, these are so big. How did I ever knit with these? Why did my mom think that this was a good learning experience? Alright, so we knit one. This is why we practice. So obviously I should have chained like a few more at the end at the beginning. So I will at least remember that for the next time. Alright, so there's my yarn over. Or no, that's not my yarn over. That's me picking up a stitch. And then we yarn. I have to yarn under because I do English style. And so I always get confused when they say yarn over when it's really for me a yarn under. That doesn't go. Don't do that. Oh my gosh. What is happening? And then we yarn under and knit a stitch. And I really hope my mic is not picking up all of this noise. That's super embarrassing. Oh, knit, knit. You know the difference between knitting and purling. What's wrong with you? Oh yeah, that's my other problem, is that in English, whenever your yarn is in front, that's how you know to purl. So by habit, about half the time I've got to go back because my yarn is in the place to purl. And so, you know, muscle memory says you need to purl here, but I have to knit. I'm gonna try to stream. See? Freaking pearls. Freaking muscle memory. Yeah, your muscle memory will betray you sometimes. Where am I? I'm gonna try to stream in the mornings, like 8:30 to 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. I am gonna try to record these, maybe repost them on YouTube in case you miss a stream, but these should be available for you know, the 14 days that Twitch lets you store your videos for. Nope. Nope. See? Maybe I can't knit and talk. Maybe this was a bad idea. Who knows? Who knows? So now, since I have, how many did I cast on? 12, so I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah, see? No. But what I can do is, what I can do this. Ta-da! I'm just gonna cheat and make sure that I have that odd number, or, yeah. No, I need an even number. Jeezy Pete's. So I guess that was right, right? Right. Yeah, 41. Yeah, I did need an even number of stitches. Oh my god, what is wrong with me? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Well, this is what we'll do. We'll even it out and we'll do this. There we go. We'll just do that. And then we'll do the normal tubular cast on thing where you pass the yarn in front. On pearls, you'll pass the yarn in front and then knit and then that kind of thing. So yeah. Yeah, this is why you don't really want to end on a purl bump, right? So my selvage might look weird. No, I'm not actually supposed to purl. See? There we go. I actually have a bunch of those in that in the collar of my sweater, where I just by habit purled. I didn't pass over like I was supposed to. And then you just do the same thing. Some people do 4 rows, some people do 2 rows. I don't know yet. I haven't like done enough to have a preference yet, so but I think I'm gonna go ahead and do, did I do 4 rows on that neck? Can I tell? Let me look. I think I just did 2. Yeah, I think I just did 2 on that one. Let me try 4, see how it goes. Alright, what am I doing? Where am I with? Oh yeah, no. Pass over. Dun, dun, dun. I feel like I need like a little dot like on my table for me to like aim where my knitting is so that I'm always in frame. Cause yeah, I think that's probably gonna be like the hardest part is like I'm so used to knitting close to my chest like everybody else. It's gonna be like making sure I'm in frame, and all those good things. Man, these sticks are so long. That's why it's important to choose the right tool for the task that you have on hand, right? One thing to note is that when you're doing this in the round, you've got to alternate. You've got to alternate which ones you pass over and which ones you knit. But when you're knitting flat, you just do the same row over and over and over again. I'll probably just do 6 rows. I'll do four setup rows and then two knitting rows and see how it goes. And I'm gonna laugh if you need to go in there. I'm gonna laugh if I'm not gonna be able to tell a difference. Like I'm doing all this work and it's exactly the same. Like that would be funny. But at least I would know, right? Like I'm looking ahead at this pattern and you know, it says increase. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Increase. Do I make one left? Do I make one right? Do I knit 2 in the same? Like, increase. And I think that's also part of the problem. Like, with not having like a single source of truth anymore. We very much are of the opinion of, you know, you do you, right? But sometimes it's hard to figure out what you are. So that's why I'm doing this experiment of I'm going to do a tubular cast on. I'm going to do it with yarn overs as opposed to, you know, picking up stitches in the middle because there's like 500 different ways to do a thing. Like I'm working on a blanket to take up a bunch of leftover yarn from my temperature blanket. And I was looking up how to do this stitch, and some people do a single crochet fundamental row or foundation row, and then some people don't. And some people cast on even amounts, and some people do an odd chain, and then some people do, you know, and it's just like, I don't know what is right anymore. Is that even a thing? Like, I don't know. Anyway, I'm just the babbling idiot of doom this morning. Well, maybe not of doom. Maybe of contemplation. Oh, I need to get to knitting. I'm just obsessed with my coffee right at the moment. Hold on. Alright, where am I? Alright, pass over. Then we knit. I really should have picked smaller needles. Like, I'm regretting that so much. Oh. That being said, I do have my first knitting project. Like it's on my it's on the back of my chair right now. It is a terrible scarf. I say terrible. It's actually, see, just slip over. Just slip over. It definitely has its issues, but I feel like for you know, my very first project, it's not so bad. I actually don't have my first crocheting project, which I'm pretty upset about. Not upset, but like kind of regretful, you know? But it was like an oversized swimsuit cover, but I've made it in like Red Heart acrylic yarn, and so it was just super heavy. and not useful at all. It was freaking terrible. But like I couldn't get my edges straight. I was losing stitches. I was dropping, you know, like it went like this. No, actually it went like this. Like I could do one edge straight, but I kept like dropping stitches. It was like a shell pattern and I didn't, you know, and it was black, right? So like of course my first project has black yarn that you can't see and it's yeah. You know, cuz I was trying to be like an edgy goth kid in the 90s. Well, was it even the 90s then? It was like the late 80s, early 90s, I think. When did I start crocheting? Who am I talking to? Who else would know? Oh my god. How many rows is that? 2? 3? Where are we at? See, this is why you need a stitch counter. Even for, I think we're at 3. I'm gonna do 1, yeah, no. I think we're at 2. Alright. It does feel nice and squidgy though. Today's gonna be... Does anyone else just always have a radio in their head? Like, just constantly you have music instead of like silence? Like, instead of a monologue, I just always have music in my head and I don't know why. Is it just me? It's probably just me. Maybe not. Who knows? Yeah, I'm legitimately gonna put a dot right here, like a sticker. I need to put a sticker like right here. So I need to know like where to aim my knitting because it's hard to like watch the stream and do the thing. That's gonna be a skill set all on its own. But you know, it's only the second time I've done this, so you know, I'm not gonna be too hard on myself. But I am gonna try to find a way to fix the problem, right? Like, let's not sit here and complain about it. Let's do something about it, right? All right. So, I think that's probably enough foundation rows. I'm just gonna do a couple of more rows of just regular rib and see what I like, see what I don't like. I probably should have knit this closer to the yarn of, right? Like now that I'm thinking about it, like closer to like the DK yarn, like even if I used like scrapped fingering yarn, that probably would have been better. But, you know. What am I even doing? Oh, no, wait. Did I purl wrong? Wait. Yeah. Hold on. Lego. Lego. There. Oh, no. I just started seed stitching. Ah! Hold on. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. Freaking A. Why do they make knitting needles so long? I don't understand. Alright. Oh, I feel you, earbud. I feel you. Right here. I feel you wanting to poke out. Alright, hold on. Alright, that's a purl stitch. You know, as much as like you evolve as a crocheter and a knitter, and you move away from like Red Heart and the 100% acrylic. Man, there's something so nostalgic about Red Heart. It just like brings me back to my childhood of when I first started to knit. Like there's just, I don't know, there's something about it. Something about it. Like I have some loyalty there. I will always know how big worsted weight is because of how much Red Heart yarn I used to knit and crochet in when I first started. Because my first yarn shop was a Walmart. We lived out in the middle of nowhere, and so that's what we had. But you know, it's better than, you know, it was something to do. I tell you, one thing that I really like about knitting and crocheting is that my husband is a gamer, and so we can sit there and he can game and I can enjoy the story and knit a sweater and, you know, still spend time with him. I tell all my gamer guy friends, it's like, look, you need to go to a yarn festival, and that is where you go and pick up girls, because they just want to sit next to you on the couch while you play video games. And they just want to knit you a sweater. Like, you're going to the wrong places. You're looking for the wrong things. Hold on, where are you at? Alright, I'm going to go ahead and bind this off. And since I have my crochet hook out, Just go ahead and do a crochet bind off if I can remember how. Did I randomly make a stitch here? Is that what happened? What is that? That shouldn't be there. I'm gonna have to go back and look at the footage now. See, I knew I had done that backwards. See, like in an actual crochet bind off, you would start here and crochet over, but it's actually gonna work out, I think. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my yarn over stitch marker, because that was the pickup method we used. I might put that here. Alright. Scissors. And, yeah. Alright, so now is the magical, mystical part. I don't understand the physics of this. Does anybody what? See how those like why is it that these V's are so okay, you see that? They feel like they're at the wrong angle. Maybe it is just me? Does anybody else feel that way whenever they do a tubular cast on? Like the angle of the like that one's fine. But the cast on is just weird. Yeah. Is that supposed to go with that one? Oh, I'm just bad at this. Hold on. Let me see. Let me grab some smaller needles. No. In true scientific style, right? We want to make sure that we do the same experiment. We repeat it the same way. But that is, that's going to be the yarn over method for picking up stitches. And so now we're going to do the, where you pick up the bar to pick up stitches. And we're going to do a couple more chains. And we'll do 12 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then this one is going to be the pickup stitch method, the P. Oh, when I cut this off, I just cut off extra. Oh my gosh. Alright, I didn't actually cut my yarn. Hold on. Hold on. Y'all knew that. Nobody said nothing. Alright. So the tutorial I watched for the pickup method said to go ahead and do a row of purls, which I found weird, but we'll go ahead and do it, see how it goes. Yeah, you need to actually see what the hell I'm doing, right? So now, for the pickup method, Regina, put your tag on. I'm just going to throw that on right here. So you knit, and then pick up a bar like you're picking up a stitch, like this. Yeah. And purl? See, that's the problem, is I can't remember. Now I can't remember. Like, I want to say, yeah. I want to say it's purl. And then we knit. Knit the knits, and then we pick up. I wonder if that's why that tutorial had you purl first. Purl a row first, that way it would be easier to see the bar to pick up, maybe? One thing that I did learn very early on is whenever I find a tutorial I like, to go ahead and save it to a playlist. Like, you're never gonna find it again. Like, I listen to too much YouTube music for me to go back, like, now, when did I see this tutorial? When was it? I don't remember now. So, like, you know, that's my amateur tip is if you find a tutorial you like save it to a playlist. Like, no shame in that. And watch it like 100 times. Like, however many times it takes for you to figure out, like, what is actually going on. And, you know, there's bound to be somebody out there in the universe to explain it into a way that you will understand. Like, TLC Yarn Crafts, like, if you need to learn how to crochet, for me, personally, she has, like, the best tutorials. I'm like, I could have used this when I learned. I know how to, like, crochet, and I haven't Tunisian crocheted a whole lot. But yeah, no, for me, she's the best at teaching somebody how to crochet. But that's just me. You know, a lot of people like Nimble Needles for his tutorials, and that's how I did my yarn over cast on method last time I did a tubular cast on. But, yep. Today's gonna... Anyway. Oh my god. When people say they don't like working in fingering weight, I'm like, how do you work in worsted weight? Like, how do you do size 10 needles? Like, they are just unwieldy. I mean, now they are, right? Now they are, since I've been, like, I got into sock knitting and making scarves and things, and now I'm like, what was I even doing? Knitting at this gauge. Nah, it's that these needles are too long. They are way too long for this experiment. I'm just hoping I remember to pick up every time I needed to pick up. I'm definitely going to have to check. I mean, I'm not going to go back, right? But I think definitely... if I use this method... I think I'm just going to do 2 setup rows. Since I kind of just want to stream. Oh, I'm already like so long. What time is it? I've got a few more minutes. So what we have learned now from stream number 2 is I need to start earlier. Like, if I'm only gonna stream till 9:30, I should just start at 8. Like, just accept that you're just gonna take a while because you're learning things. And my coffee's gotten cold. And by you, I mean me. You probably already know what you're doing. But yeah. So now... and now I'm going to do two setup rows. And then two knit rows, and then bind off, and then see what we like. See? Finally caught myself. You ever find, though, that, like, once you get into a pattern, it's so hard to get out of? Like, it's so hard to get into. Because, like, I'm going to do 2 rows of just regular rib, and I know, like, at least one of those pearls is going to get passed over. Nope, nope. Come on, you can do it. Just pinch it. You go there. Do do do. There we go. Wait, no. Wait. Okay. Yeah. Okay. This is what we need to do. You go here. Like that. Let go. Let go. There we go. Now, is that leg on straight? Yeah. So one thing that you want to make sure whenever that happens, as is prone to do, you want to make sure that this bar, like, I don't know, I call it the long leg. You want to make sure that that long leg is in front. Like, that's how you know if you've got, like, a twisted stitch or not. So it goes there, and then this goes here. Do this. Alright, and then we'll do 2 rows of ribbing. Bind off, and then look at our results. And see which one I like better. And then you can tell me which one you like better. Who knows? Right here. You know what? I'm gonna fix this. Please hold. I got these stickers from, like, oh, they are the same color. Will I even be able to tell the difference? What else have I got? Fruits basket stickers. So cute. Now, I think I'm gonna go with my knitting kit. Like, even though it's the same color, because I just keep dropping out of frame, and it's just gonna annoy me. I know it's annoying you, whoever is watching, which might be nobody. Yeah, it's nobody, but we'll see. That's fine. Alright, here we go. Alright. That looks in the middle of frame. We're gonna do that. Alright. Yeah, that's right in the middle of frame. Yay! That's exciting. Alright, here we go. Oh. It's also like a nice visual reminder of make sure. No, hold on. I really like metal needles, but because it helps my fabric to slip on and off, but sometimes it's like, man, I need you to grip. I need just like 2 seconds of grip. See? I'm constantly being reminded to move my needles into frame. Why did I put my yarn on my left side? Anyone else do that? Like they put their yarn on the wrong side? Like consistently. I always put it on my left and I don't know why. Like it's literally the worst way. Maybe because I crochet? Is that where you have it when you crochet? Oh gosh, what is that? We'll undo it. Throw that over there. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and bind off. Not that it really matters, but we'll throw that P on there. Set this off, and then... Did I do the wrong end? Maybe? Question mark. Yep. Haha. That's definitely tighter to pull out. All right, so let's look at look how much straighter Can you see that? Probably not. Look how much straighter the rows are. I mean, that might also be like, because I got used to the sides of the needles and those kinds of things, but I feel like the purl row first, and then pick up in the middle method, like, I need to stop picking such dark yarn, right? Like, I need to take a, I should have used this as my yarn, and then this is my cast on, but I was thinking aesthetics, not like what the camera would pick up. But I hope you can see, I might even just do this. Like, how much straighter the pickup method is as opposed to the yarn over method. Like, just the rows themselves look so much straighter. I think I'm gonna go do that. I'm so glad that I did this experiment to figure out which method I like. Once I edit this and figure out, like, hold on, let me not be in front of that camera. Yeah, so if I get around to reposting this on YouTube, I'll add, in the playlist, like, the tutorial I used for the, for this, pickup stitch method. So if you want to use it, you can, but, yeah, I like that so much better than this thing. It is a little, it's not as thin as this, but even like this way, you get such a more consistent, hold on, where's my focus? All right, you get such a more consistent, yeah, stitches. That's great. I'm gonna do that. Cool. So thank you for joining me on my journey. I'm gonna try so hard, hold on, to get into a regular cadence of streaming Mondays and Thursdays, maybe Saturdays if I wake up early enough, who knows. But yeah, thanks for joining me on my journey, and we'll see you next time. Bye.